delegation from the Low-Car-Re project, Low Carbon Economy Regions, visited Västra Götaland. They came to see if electric vehicles could be a part of the solution to the problem of greenhouse gases from road transport. This is a key problem, common to all regions in Europe, and a problem also in Sweden, where road transports are the single most significant source of such emissions. Participants came from southern Denmark, Zeeland in the Netherlands, and Emilia-Romagna in Italy. Most of the study visit took place at Lindholmen Science Park, near the centre of Gothenburg.
Okay, so we talk about business model then. Because who wants to buy it? It's expensive, as you said, and it has its limitations today. If you compare it to, for example, the music scene some 20 years ago or 30 years ago, it was very important that you bought your records and you had them at home and you could hold the LP albums. Some of us are old enough to know what LPs are. Then there were CDs, and that's for most of us. And then now, of course, we don't need that anymore because we have Spotify. And this concept is sort of the same thing. It's sort of a Spotify for cars. Why do you have to own it? You can actually just, as long as you can access it easily. A lot of countries right now, they are saying we are preparing for electric vehicles. And what do? They build charge posts. That's what they do, because then the more we have, the better we are. And that's very expensive. And actually, with this concept of Elvis, you don't really need that many of those. You may need a few, but because in the city, as we talked about in the previous concept here, it could be good to have. But with this concept, you can plug your car into the wall and it charges. And it takes care of the building and everything else for you. It knows where it is, it will send you the bill.
Researchers gave examples of solutions to modern transport needs, all based on electric vehicles. Trolley buses are a well-known sight in many cities, but they have their limitations. They are not flexible, and you need to build special infrastructure for them. But if you already have a tramline, then a trolley bus with a hybrid engine could use the electric power of the tramline whenever suitable, and travel on the bus's own hybrid engine when it needs to leave the tram track.
This is the idea that we came up with. This is how it could look like. We have a pantograph like on a regular tram that we put on the bus. And we need some, since the energy goes from up here and down to the rails, we need some kind of connection to the rails for the bus as well. And it needs to be adapted somewhat because the bus will not follow the rail exactly the way that a tram does. It needs to be a bit more flexible, this pantograph, but also the current return arms.
But where should the electricity for vehicles come from? It's important that the energy sources for electric vehicles are renewable and do not contribute to increased climate change.
And what we are seeing here is the Gothenburg Wind Lab. It's not only the wind turbine, but also the buildings underneath that are combined here. It's building the Gothenburg Wind Lab. It's their own test area for sustainable energy technology. And we have built the largest wind turbine currently in Sweden. While we are using this wind turbine to learn more about the sustainable energy technology, it also generates green energy. About 15 gigawatt hours per year is this plant thing to be produced. And also we'll be keeping 7,500 electric cars rolling for 10,000 kilometers.
There are a lot of differences between the cities. In Holland, the problem and the solution by e-cars is the air quality. We've got problems to match the quality standards of the air in our cities. So that's a lot different in Sweden, because you've got really clean air, you've got big spaces, you don't have the problems we have. Too much people, too much traffic on a too small place.
At Lindholmen Science Park, Research institutes work closely with industry and the public sector. The project Test Site Sweden offers exclusive testing facilities for car manufacturers.
And Test Site Sweden is a good example of a triple helix program. It is initiative to engage the Swedish vehicle cluster in cooperation projects around demonstration and test. And we have been running since 2007, and we are funded from Vinnova, but also from the Västra Götalandsregionen. There is a very intense dialogue now with the car vehicle manufacturers about test and demonstration sites for electrical roads, where you continuously feed electricity to the trucks.
What I've learned is that we're still at the beginning of e-mobility. That's the main conclusion I've learned about it. And we have a lot to go, but a lot of good work is done here already.
It's been very inspiring to see what the Västra Götaland is doing to improve and innovate in the electromobility. And I think it's what's different from our region is that there are some very big companies here that I suppose are the front runners here and really can make a difference in many of the projects.
There are many prototypes, but this is one of the prototypes, and it will be used by the city of Gothenburg.
It's nice. This is a little bit strange, the large steering wheel, but it's nice to do. And unfortunately, you're sitting with a roof over your head, so that's also nice.
Oh, it's very easy and very silent, actually. So, seem to be natural.
You really work a lot with electromobility here in Göteborg. I think you also have an industry which has many opportunities in this new market. So I think you have a big expertise, and you're building out now your expertise in the electromobility sector, and I hope you get a good industrial position in the future also, especially with your heavy-duty vehicles.